In this design video, we will show that what benefits Cisco and Alkira's partnership is bringing for customers and simplifying the deployment of the Cisco firewall in cloud. Hi, my name is Hasham Malik and I'm part of Alkira product team. And joining me is Ahmed.
Hey, my name is Ahmed. I'm the product manager at Alkira.
So, Ahmed, what is the value that Alkira and Cisco is bringing to customers by integrating the Cisco FTD in Alkira CXP?
This integration is solving a paramount use case for the enterprises. Enterprises are either moving their workload from on-prem to the cloud, or they already exist in the single cloud or expanding into the multiple cloud environment. But deploying the firewall in any cloud environment requires a lot of touch point, whether it's AWS, Azure, GCP. It is complex, it hides the end-to-end visibility because netting is required in some of the use cases and inefficient resource usage. Typically, 9 to 10 steps are involved in any native environment to deploy the firewall. It requires the cloud knowledge, requires the cloud limitation, and the CSP constraint. On the other hand, this can be done in few clicks on the Alkira environment. You can scale up and scale down the firewall instances on demand requirement, and it doesn't require any cloud knowledge. Cisco and Alkira together solving multiple use cases. It's solving the use case for the merger and acquisition, partner connectivity through IPsec or SD-WAN. If you have the intra-cloud environment or inter-cloud environment where you have the multiple CSPs or traffic workload is going from one cloud to the other cloud and you want to spread traffic, you can do it. If you have the on-prem to cloud connectivity and you want to spread traffic, you can do it with this integration. You can also solve the cloud and enterprise DMZ problem. On top of it, the benefit Alkira is providing is the full lifecycle management for the firewall. Seamlessly integrate the firewall management center. In this case, it's Cisco FMC. Customer can enable the segmentation, micro-segmentation, auto-scale the instances up and down of our on-demand traffic requirement. They can they can consistently steer traffic across the cloud from the cloud to on-prem as per their requirement.
That's great, Ahmed. Thank you for that. Let's deep dive into the Alkira and deployment steps involved for Cisco FTD in Alkira CXP. Alkira is a cloud networking as a service platform, which has POPs called Cloud Exchange Points, CXPs. Customers can either use web UI or automation using Terraform to perform configurations on CXP. For demo purposes, I already have a configured tenant. This rectangular figure in the middle represents Alkira CXP deployed in US West region. Customer can connect their data centers, branches, remote sites, and remote users using connectivity options from private links, IPsec, or SD-WAN. In the right column of the CXP, using cloud connectors, customer can onboard their cloud workloads from AWS, Azure, GCP, and OCI. Customers can also provide internet connectivity to their cloud workloads and to on-site resources using Internet Connector right from the CXP. The middle column is Alkira's marketplace, which customers can use to deploy third-party security and ODI services. I've already deployed a Cisco FTD in the CXP. Let's go over the configuration. Customers can deploy a Cisco FTD service through this single UI page with minimal configurations requirements. Configure FTD service name and a subnet to be used in your CXP for FTD service. Provide FMC IP address, login credential to automate the registration of FTD instances that you will deploy in Alkira CXP. If you don't want to share your FMC credentials, then you can still register the FTD instances to your FMC, by using a manual configuration script that Alkira provides after the deployment of the FTD instances. To deploy FTD instance, just choose the license type and firewall version, provide admin password and registration key, and optionally NAT ID. The registration key is used to register the FTD to FMC. You can deploy autoscaling of up to 4 FTD instances, which are deployed in active fashion, and Alkira manages the routing to those instances. Alkira CXP supports segmentation and microsegmentation with groups in the cloud infrastructure. The segments are mapped to VRF and groups are mapped to zones on FTD instances for end-to-end isolation of the traffic. In this configuration, we are mapping dev segment and production segment, where production segment has 3 groups mapped to 3 zones on FTD. Next, choose the management segment from which you want to access the FTD instances. Choose the throughput and billing tag. Next, save the configuration and provision. Once provisioned, you can see the service health and the instance health from the UI. From FMC, you can see the device is registered on the FMC, and the basic configurations have been configured by Alkira. An important point to note here is that even though Alkira automates deployment and initial configurations, customers have full control of their FTD instances directly and through FMC to manage the policies. From here on, customers can configure the access policies on their FTD instances. Let's look at the use case where we want to block malware being downloaded by a user. We have clients in host VPC, a VPC that is onboarded on Alkira CXP, and trying to access a web page from the Windows Server VPC. Because both host VPC and server VPCs are onboarded to CXP, clients sitting in host VPCs can communicate with server in the server VPC. To make sure that the client traffic goes through the Cisco FTD firewall before it goes to the server, I have configured a policy that assures that all client traffic is directed to the Cisco FTD before it goes to the Windows Server. This combination of Alkira policy and FTD inspection provides customers multi-layer of security in the cloud. On the FMC, I have configured a rule within the access policy that is mapped to the Cisco FTDs deployed in Alkira. Here, there are 2 rules configured for client to server traffic. The first is for 1023, which is going to inspect the traffic and block the malware. The other rule is configured for 1044 server in the same host VPC, and for that we're allowing everything. Now let's test the traffic. Here I have remote desktop sessions to the 2 hosts in the host VPC and the server in the server VPC. There is a web page configured on the server. We are going to access this page from 1044 first. The rule for this host in the Cisco FTD is to permit the file download. The host can access the web page from the server, and it should be able to download the file. Let's try to download the same file from 1023 host. For this host, we have configured the rule on the Cisco FTD to block the malware. We can access the page. Let's try to download the file, and we can see that the file is being blocked. We can verify that from the FMC logs itself. If you go to analysis, events, we can see the file was blocked for 1023 when accessing from the 61 server. Now let's look at a use case where we want to block certain category of internet traffic when clients are going to access it. We have configured an Alkira policy where clients' traffic going to the internet has to go through the Cisco FTD for packet inspection. Here, any host traffic coming from the host VPC through the AWS host VPC group to the CXP, it will go through the Cisco FTD before it takes the cloud internet connector route and exit out for internet. On the FMC, we can see the policies that are configured for this internet traffic. There are two rules configured. The first rule blocks the social networking and news URL categories, and the other permits everything for both hosts. To test this, let's go to the host and try to access different websites. Let's go to alkira.com. We can access the Alkira website. Let's try to access CNN.com, which should land in the category of news. I'll also try Facebook, which should be from the social category. We can see that CNN website failed, and so the Facebook site will also fail. We can go to FMC to see the logs of this traffic being blocked. Let's go to analysis, events. We can see the Facebook traffic from 1044 is getting blocked. We should be also able to see the CNN traffic right here. The traffic going to the CNN is also getting blocked. However, the other websites were permitted. If you would like to know more about how Alkira can simplify your journey to cloud, please reach out to us on alkira.com.